What's going on, everybody? My name is Andrew Oliva and I love to review movies. If you haven't already, please click the like button and subscribe. It helps me out so much. Today I'm going to rank all 39 MCU shows and movies with Black Panther Wakanda Forever coming out this weekend. This is going to be a pretty quick ranking. I'm not going to go in depth about anything. I'm just going to go through and list them all and say like a couple words about them. In last place is Thor: The Dark World. It's pretty dull and boring. Up next is She-Hulk Attorney at Law. I don't need to say much about that. Up next is Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Overall, it's pretty disappointing and wish it could have been better. Up next is Iron Man 2. Not bad, but pretty convoluted with its storytelling. Up next is Black Widow. Never really liked this movie when I first saw it, and I still don't like it on rewatches. Up next is Captain Marvel. It's okay. Up next is Iron Man 3. It's enjoyable, but pretty forgettable. Next is Thor. It's pretty good when we're in Asgard, but when we go to Earth, it really slows down and becomes pretty forgettable. Up next is Thor: Love and Thunder. Wish it took itself more seriously. Up next is The Incredible Hulk. Not as bad as everyone says it is, but definitely could have been better. Up next is Moon Knight. Definitely a disappointing show, which I liked the first 2 episodes, but towards the end it just went downhill from there. Up next is Miss Marvel. First 2 episodes were really good, but then the middle of the show just went off the rails and became something completely different. Up next is Ant-Man and the Wasp. This is just a fun movie. Then is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I really enjoyed this movie when I first saw it, but on multiple rewatches I see a lot of flaws that everyone else has been seeing with it. And overall, the movie shines when Sam Raimi is taking all the control over like the style, and it becomes pretty enjoyable. Up next is Avengers: Age of Ultron. It's a pretty good sequel to the Avengers. I really like Ultron as a villain, but the middle of the movie drags a little bit. Up next is Ant-Man. It's just fun. Then is Eternals. I like this movie a lot more than a lot of other people, and I really enjoy Chloe Zhao's direction with the movie. Up next is Spider-Man: Homecoming. It's a fun little high school movie. It's not the best Spider-Man movie, but it's pretty enjoyable. Up next is Loki. Really fun TV series, which I wish the finale wasn't like a trailer for season 2, but overall it's pretty enjoyable. Up next is WandaVision. I enjoyed the theorizing week to week. It was the first Marvel TV show, so we didn't really know what to expect. Overall, a pretty enjoyable show. Up next is Doctor Strange. It's fine. It's pretty enjoyable. I liked it more the first time, but I don't really find myself rewatching this movie that often. The villain is really forgettable. Up next is Captain America: The First Avenger. It's pretty fun. Then is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Know a lot of people don't like this movie, but I really have a lot of fun with it. James Gunn, anything he puts out, I'll watch. And this is just pure James Gunn wackiness, and it's just a fun time to watch. Up next is Thor: Ragnarok. I wish it took itself like more serious at times, but overall it's a really fun movie. Up next is Werewolf by Night. A really enjoyable movie if you haven't seen it yet. It's a throwback to classic monster movies, and I really enjoyed that. I really loved Michael Giacchino's direction with this one. Up next is Hawkeye, my personal favorite TV show. Up next is Black Panther. It's just amazing. Then next is the new Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I put this one over the first movie for now. That could definitely change, but I just love the direction they took things in this movie, and it really made for a powerful sequel. Next is Spider-Man: No Way Home. It was great the first time, and it definitely dropped down a little lower on rewatches. Up next is Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings. I really enjoy this movie. The action is phenomenal. The third act gets a little CGI heavy, but overall, a fun movie. Up next is Captain America: Civil War, the turning point in the MCU in my opinion, and it's definitely one of the better Captain America movies. Up next is Guardians of the Galaxy. It's just amazing. James Gunn took a bunch of wacky characters, and he found a way to add emotion to all of them. So this is a really fun but emotionally heavy when it needs to be movie. It's definitely one I rewatch often. Up next is Avengers: Endgame. A solid conclusion to the Infinity Saga. I wish the second act of the movie wasn't as long as it was, and I wasn't a huge fan of Fat Thor, but overall it's a pretty enjoyable conclusion. Up next is the original Iron Man. This is just a classic. In my number 4th is The Avengers. This is the first time we're seeing all these characters on screen together, and it's really a fun time. Up next is a hot take in my number 3 spot, which is Spider-Man Far From Home. I think this is the only Spider-Man movie out of the entire trilogy of the MCU Spider-Man that actually feels like a Spider-Man movie. This feels really comic booky, and it's just a blast to watch. I think this is probably my most rewatched Marvel movies. In second place is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. What can I say about this movie that hasn't been said already? It's amazing. And then in first place is Avengers Infinity War, by far the best Avengers movie in my opinion, and the most exciting Marvel movie. And Thanos is a top tier villain. What's going on, everybody? Editing my ranking, I realized I forgot to include What If. I'd put What If right under Hawkeye. I find it to be an enjoyable show that I liked more on rewatches. Goodbye.